Hi, my name is Emma and I am a visual designer. I am interested in creating experiences through design that reach people, that speak to them, that draw them in and get them involved with what is going on the paper, on the web, on the application, all the different mediums. So, I also have an interest in user experience and user interface. So the projects that I am going to show you today are more on that side of things. So, first project that I'm going to show you is the Repairs website. So Repairs is a software startup that connects restaurants with service providers. They wanted to minimize the time that it takes for service providers to get to the restaurants and fix their equipment because they really saw a need in that. And so their application has two versions, one that's directed towards the restaurants and one that's directed towards the service providers to give them just the specific things that they need for requesting equipment help, and then also, like on the service provider side, accepting jobs and sending invoices. So I was on a team of 4, and we each were part of the UX UI design, the prototype creating, and the coding at the end. So the problem was that they have this application that they're trying to get their name out with, and they don't have a marketing site that they like. And so we were tasked with creating a marketing website for them that would draw in potential customers and get them to sign up for a demo with the Repairs team. And so we worked directly with the Repairs team, with their co-founders and their graphic designer, especially to create this site that is on brand and brings in new customers. So we started with a information architecture to figure out what needs to be on the site and how to make it flow best. And from that, we each created a first composition. This was just the first ideas that came to our heads about what we think the site should look like. And almost all of us went with a split screen for the first home page, as you can see in my design on the right side of the screen. And that was just because we knew that the service providers and the restaurant owners were going to get different information. And so we wanted to make sure that they knew what information to go looking after. And so you can see right on the first page is the click here if it's service providers, or click here if it's restaurants. And from those first compositions, the 4 of us brought them together and discussed our likes and dislikes of them, and what we thought would work well, what we thought we should change to make it work better, and created a first prototype. This was the first prototype that we showed to the client and got critiques from, and it was a great jumping off point. If you want to see more about it, you can click on the link. It takes you to the prototype. And then after several rounds of critiquing and getting feedback from our client in between critiques, we created this final prototype. As you can see, this just one page you can see is different from the first one. We had all the steps laid out right here, and then after a few rounds of critiquing, our client was like, we really want this to be a slider of some sort. So from that, we created the final site. We each had a part in coding it, and yeah. The next one I want to show you is the CP Health app. I'll just go through it real quick. This was an application with the Cal Poly Health Center to minimize its wait times and minimize the amount of complaining that it receives from Cal Poly students. So we really wanted to improve Cal Poly students' experiences with the health center. This was my final design with my partner Elena. This was brought together after weeks of researching and testing and designing and redesigning and interviewing people and doing user testing to figure out what would be most intuitive and what would be most helpful for students to have as features on the application. So we went through some research, looked at different competitors and their applications. We created a flow diagram to see how we wanted students to flow through our application and what would be the best course of action for them, least amount of clicks to get what they needed. And then after researching and doing interviews, we created this map of our minimum viable product with all the things that we wanted to prioritize in our application. And from that, we created our final prototype, which you can see up here. So, thanks for coming to watch.